Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back if this is your first time. Welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I am here today with a special video. I just turned 30 today, and it's awesome, right? I'm super excited. I'm excited because I'm excited to see the new things that are in store for me. I'm excited for what 30 and what my 30s has in store for me. And I'm grateful for life, grateful for my family, the family that God has blessed me with. And although I'm a little nervous and scared because of the unknown, I'm all in all excited because I know that God has good things in store for me, and those are the things that I have, to look forward to. So today I have a video. I just wanted to come on here and just talk about some of the things that I wish I had known in my 20s. And these are the advice that I would give my younger self. So here goes. Number one, I would tell my younger self to please get out of your head. I mean, I was an overthinker. I would overthink things and overanalyze and coming up with scenarios in your head of what could potentially happen or whatever. And then that would often deter me or push me away from doing the things that I really wanted to do. So I would tell myself, my younger self, to get out of her head and just be more present and live and take chances. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong. You learn from it and you move on. So I would definitely tell my younger self to get out of her head. With that, I would also tell my younger self to stop allowing fear to rule her life. Fear had such a hold on me. Oh my God. Oh, I was so fearful of everything, fearful of being perceived the wrong way, fearful of rejection, fearful of the unknown, fearful of, stepping outside of the box and trying different things. So I would tell my younger self to stop allowing fear to hold me back from living and just doing things and being great. The best way to know yourself is to, do that thing you're scared of doing it anyway. Because in doing it, and in pushing yourself to do that thing that you're scared of doing, that process of doing that thing can reveal things about yourself to you and teaches you more about you, right? And it also helps you in one way or another. There's always something that we can learn from our life experiences. So I would tell my younger self to stop being fearful and just live and go for it. Along with that, I would say that people will always talk, okay? If you breathe, just suck in air like a normal human being, people will talk. If you stay inside your rock, under your rock, like Patrick from SpongeBob, and you're not social or whatever, people will still find something to talk about, something about you to talk about. They would, even the fact that you're not being social or just keeping to yourself or whatever is gonna be a problem. So people will talk regardless. So live your life. Do the things you genuinely want to do, whether they conform to whatever societal expectations are of you, whether you know that your parents will not like it. Now, I'm not saying don't do anything that's disrespectful. Don't do anything that's, will land you in serious trouble. But it's your life. They've lived their lives. So it's time for you to live your life. And in making your own decisions and in living the life you want to live, right? You only have yourself to blame it if anything happens, So live your life. People will talk. People will have opinions of what you are doing. So just live. And to go along with the third point, this fourth point is very much, they're cousins. It's cousins with the third point. All right. And that is that humans will be humans. People will be people. It's just like I've learned that, when you have a baby or a toddler, they're wired to behave a certain way. They just are. They're just babies, right? They cry because that's what they do. That's how they communicate. They don't know any better. They're just babies. That's how they're wired to communicate. They will cry. Toddlers will explore, and in their exploring, they will misbehave. That is just what they do, right? So understanding that people are people. They come as bad, as good. Actually, I don't believe they come as bad and good. I believe we all have that same potential to be good or bad. And we just yield to either or, right? So people will be people. People will talk. People will be happy with you today, will be angry with you tomorrow. People will take off tents, will be offended over things you never meant harm, over, right? People will take things the wrong way. People will choose to see you the way they want to see you, right? So people will be people, and there are some that will genuinely love you to the moon and back. There are some that will genuinely support you, right? So knowing that people will be people allows you to rest, as in to rest. And this resting piece brings me to another point. And I would tell my younger self to take time to know who you are. Take time to know who you are. Once you know who you are and you have a good grasp of the knowledge of who you are, nobody can come and tell you who they think you are. Nobody can push labels on you. Nobody can push their opinions about you on you. You understand? Nobody can come and persuade you that you are something that you're not, right? And this, from a spiritual standpoint, really comes from spending time with Christ. And this would be my next point and advice to myself, is to draw close to God, okay? Get your spiritual life together. Root yourself in Him, because it is in Him, your manufacturer, your creator. It's in Him you gain the knowledge of who you are and how you are meant to function and how He has created you, right? So taking time out consistently to walk consistently with God and pray, inquire about who He has created you to be, inquire about your purpose, inquire about what He has sent you here on earth to do. And from there, He will show you and paint that picture of the art that is you. He will show you who you are, and once you know who you are, girl, you will love life. You will love life. You will be able to navigate life, navigate relationships, navigate, events, because life will throw all sorts to you, but how you respond to life matters. But it stems from the core of who you are. It stems from knowing who you are. So you can allow things to shake you, or you can allow them to build you, because you know who you are and where God is taking you. So know you, understand who you are. Now, on the topic of people will be people, people will talk whether you like it or not, I will advise my younger self to learn how to forgive. Whew, okay. Forgiveness for a long time for me was a hard concept to grasp, because I truly felt like, what is forgiveness, right? How do you truly forgive? How do you say you've forgiven somebody, but you're still mad about what they did? You're still upset over what has happened. Every time you see them, you're still hurt. How do you truly forgive? Is it just by verbally professing that I have forgiven you? but I know in my heart of hearts that I haven't, because every time I see you, I'm triggered, you know? But forgiveness truly, 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 truly is about you and releasing you from the shackles of unforgiveness, because unforgiveness, girl, is only hurting you. It really is only hurting you. So from understanding that humans will be humans, people will be people, and people will talk regardless, because that's just what they're meant to do, you can forgive, because as you are imperfect, so is everybody imperfect. As you internally are trying to work through things and become a better person, others are the same way. Okay? As you are busy offending people, whether intentionally or unintentionally, people are also doing the same, because we're all people, we're all functioning in this way. You understand? So I think just knowing that people are flawed, just as you are flawed, you're able to forgive easier. And you need to forgive, because it frees you. It just allows you to breathe fresh air and live your life and not be triggered by anybody or anything, you know? Now, although I have advised my younger self to forgive and to understand forgiveness, in addition to that, I will advise my younger self to understand boundaries, like how to implement boundaries with people. Yes, forgive, let go, give people chances, right? But once you've seen someone and studied them and watched them over time, and you see that there's a pattern, you see that there's a reoccurring issue of being hurt even after communicating with them, that X, Y, and Z that they do hurts you, they still continue, you then have to move forward with boundaries in place. With boundaries, okay? You have to implement boundaries, because that's the only way you'll be able to truly move on. I get it, everybody keeps saying forgive, but in truth, there are some things that will cut deeper than others. There are some things that will cut so deep that it enters your soul. It's so deep. You're just like, I just cannot just forgive, right? There are such situations, but to protect yourself, right, or to truly move on in good faith with all of your heart, knowing that you've done your absolute best, you have to implement boundaries, making sure that that same thing that cut you so deep does not repeat itself again. Okay, and boundaries doesn't mean cutting off that person or closing the door to, something permanently. No, it just means that this is a no-go area. We go this far and no further, right? So understanding boundaries and how to implement those boundaries especially when it comes to relationships, will help facilitate forgiveness and just help you be in a better space and learn to work with people or build relationships with people. Okay, so another lesson I would want my younger self to understand and learn right away is communication. The importance of communication, understanding that you have to communicate your feeling to the person in question, to the person with whom you're having some friction with, with the person with whom you're having issues with. You have to learn how to communicate. I grew up in a household where we don't communicate our feelings. Okay? Who boy you will? You cannot come and tell your father, oh, dad, you offended me, or mom, I was really offended by what you did, and you cannot even try it. All right? And unfortunately, with the way I grew up, we really never communicated. My parents didn't really encourage me having friends outside of school. So I didn't learn those skills, right? And my only way of communication at the time was just to have little outbursts here and there, like give the person attitude or, not talk to them or whatever. That was just my way of coping, right? Because I was forced to kind of keep everything in, hold everything in. And I could sit here and make 1,000 excuses about why I went about life that way. But the purpose of leaving the nest, leaving home, going to college, building a life and growing into adulthood is to learn how to do things better. And that communication piece was missing for so long in my 20s. And I would tell my 19-year-old self, all of this advice is to my 19-year-old self that is about to go into 20. These are things that I want her to know, to learn. These are the advice that I have for her. So if you're 19, please take note. Take note and, try and implement some of these things that I'm talking about. But communication is so important. Communication is so important. The person in question can't read your mind. So you have to communicate what is going on, and just be explicit about everything. I've learned that especially in marriage too, because sometimes men don't know what a woman wants, right? And you have to verbalize it. So learning how to verbalize what you want, what you expect, what just happened that offended you, or what just happened that hurt you, whatever, you have to communicate. And with that, I would tell my younger self that communication is an art. It is an art. The way your approach to communication is important. There's a saying that goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That makes all of the difference. Delivery. If you're able to deliver something well, there's a higher chance that the person will receive your words. So you really have to learn the art of communicating effectively, right? And what can help is knowing who you're talking to. Of course, you can't really know everyone 100%, no matter how long you spend with the person. I mean, older married couples would always tell people of how they still learn something new about their spouse, daily or whatever, right? Or even after decades of being with the person, they're learning something new. And that truly comes because, I believe it's because we just tend to evolve as people, right? We tend to change and evolve. And so as this person is evolving, new things are coming about, right? There are new things now that they're into, that they believe in, so you have to learn these new things that they're getting into. So learning is a continuous process, but at some point you get a good understanding of who this person is, who the person you're talking to is, who the person involved or you're involved with is, whether it's a friend or a partner or whoever. So in order to communicate with that person effectively, you have to know them, take the much that you know about them, and figure out what is the best approach to communicate with them. I think doing that really makes a world of difference. It really does. Now it's something I'm still learning to do. All of these things that I'm stating are still things that I'm still learning, but are things that I wish my younger self would have known and, had started working on earlier. And perhaps, by now, I probably would have had a good grasp on all of these things, So communication and understanding the art of communication will help a lot with just building relationships and navigating life in general. So another thing I would tell my younger self is, girl, life is unfair. Life is unfair. I'm not speaking negativity into life. I'm just talking or speaking on the nature of life. Life, our idea of what is fair to us in our lives isn't always necessarily the reality that we are facing. You understood? Life is unfair. So knowing and accepting that early would help you just live and triumph in life. What do I mean by that? It's my belief that we are in a race of who can make the better lemonade. Meaning, life will always have lemons for you, okay? Sour lemons for you. But it's a question of what can you make out of those lemons? What can you make out of those things that has been handed to you, right? So you've been handed your 10 lemons. Please take them, gather them, and begin to make your lemonade. Make the best lemonade, because best believe there's someone else out there who has it way worse, okay? Who has been given way worse, and they're probably doing well at finessing it and, making the best out of their situation. And I say that to say that the sooner the younger me had accepted that life is unfair, the sooner I would have been able to take power back. Accepting that life is unfair and dealing with it, making the best out of everything that life gives, allows you to have power, to gain power back. And that is why my mantra this year of my life, honestly, is to learn how to respond and not react. Learning how to respond in every situation, and not just responding to people, but responding to life, because things will happen unexpectedly. But how do you respond to it? Are you reacting to it, or are you responding? There's a huge difference, and knowing that difference, recognizing that difference would help me to really maximize, bring beauty out of the ashes, right? And that's my aim, that's my focus. And I just want my younger self to accept it and stop fighting, because fighting is not going to change the nature of life. It's not going to change what is going to happen. It's not going to change it. So accept it and make the best out of your situation. I would also tell my younger self to look into therapy, okay? Don't allow the negative connotations that are around therapy to deter you. Look into therapy. Therapy is that outlet you've been looking for to just talk and let it out. All that you've been bottling in that has just, hardened you and caused you to put up so many walls. Therapy will help. Look into therapy, seek therapy, and utilize it, because it will make you a better you. It'll help you become a better version of you. And I'm telling myself this even now, because I don't have therapy right now, but the time frame that I was going to therapy helped. It helped just having someone to listen. It helped hearing myself talk too. And then thinking through everything that I'm saying and what I'm having issues with. Therapy helps you understand and recognize your trauma. And recognizing it is one thing, dealing with it is another, right? And unfortunately, we don't know how these traumas tend to play out, right? How we allow it to affect our lives, how it affects our lives. We're not even aware of how it affects our lives. So therapy, girl, just go. Just go. You will be fine. And nobody needs to know that you're in therapy. The people that love you can know, and will probably encourage you to continue. But you don't ever have to feel ashamed for it, or allow anybody to make you feel ashamed or throw it at you as an insult, or because that happened to me recently. Throw it at you as, a way to tell you that you have issues or you have things to work through. Okay. So that concludes kind of everything that I have to tell my younger self in light of turning 30. I don't have it all together, I really don't. But if I knew these things beforehand, maybe my quality of life would be different or perhaps better now than it is, presently. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and let me know what your thoughts are on some of the points that I made. And just express or share your experiences as well. That'd be great to hear and see and read. So that concludes this video. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.